Good morning, CLC. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys had a wonderful, lovely Thanksgiving week. We are happy that you are here. Special thank you, if you have not noticed our lovely scenery back here. Special thank you to Sharon Minery. And what is Denise's last name? Slate. I knew that. To Sharon Minery and Denise Slate for coming and decorating and making sure that we have all of our Christmassy, wintry stuff out. So special thank you to them for that. Okay. Um, right now, I would like to also thank each and every one of you that have donated over the past few several weeks, months, whatever we're in right now. Um, I heard the other day, we're at Blur's Day. That's just what we're doing right now. It's just Blur's Day. So happy Blur's Day to you. Thank you for donating. Thank you for being a part of this. No matter how big or how small you give, just know that we are working hard to make sure that we're here, making sure that we can be available to you and for you, and making sure that once it is safe, we're all welcome back. And so with that, I encourage you to, if you can, to donate. We will have a link in our comment section. You can also go to creativelife.org, and there's a donate tab on there through PayPal. You can mail in your donation. And again, remember, it does not matter how big or how small. Whatever you give, we know it's from the heart, and we are grateful for. So with that, I ask you to join me now in saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is. And now I invite you to relax in this moment. Get comfortable, whether you're on your bed or chair or sofa. Just allow your body to release any tension or stress. Take a few deep breaths, calming your body, calming your mind. And remember with me, universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin the inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your right hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging the higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of the infinite presence, I simply speak these words. I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only constructive, positive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. Visualizing the idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words, I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in the room with me this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I am grateful for the good in your life. Now, I open my eyes and turn to the world around me and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in the room or virtually on this broadcast and sharing gratitude and confidence with them and saying, I am grateful for all the good in your lives.
Sorry for the delay, folks. My microphone fell off. Don't let that happen to you. You stand up and your microphone falls off. I am the place where God shines through. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Eddie Watkins Jr. Yes.
He's the man I thought of during the meditation when you think of somebody special in your life.
I had exchanged text messages on Thanksgiving Day. I reached out to a bunch of people, some of them hurting that I knew of, and others just people I hadn't connected with in a while. And one of them was Emily Elbert, and she sends us all love from the coast. So, yeah. All right, so we conclude today. Last week was all about Thanksgiving. Today is all about leftovers. We're concluding the I Am series. I will start where I am. I will start where I am. What is the great I am? In metaphysics and in... somebody emailed this week and they said, you're working off notes now. Should we worry? Because I had a stand in front of me with... Well, actually, I've always had notes, but you kind of couldn't see them when we were, in the days when we were open, as we will be again, because they were kind of beneath the piano. So I don't like working from notes, but they're a comfort. They're a comfort, and if I completely run out of things to say, or as more usually happens, sail way past the allotted time, they kind of keep me, engaged here. But the I Am has been the theme this month. The I Am that I am. And in metaphysics and in New Age writing, there's a lot about the I Am, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, and it's mystical. And the only time it loses me is when it seems to suggest that this I am thing exists separately from us, that it exists like a mothership kind of hovering over creation, over humankind, Because the I am as I know it is the I am that I am. The I am experience that I am having in this moment. The I am is having an experience of itself in this world at this time by means of me. I keep putting it that way, relentlessly. Every week, like a little signature in my talks, you'll find that statement somewhere that something, Spirit, God, the power, whatever you want to call it, is having an experience in this world at this time by means of you, by means of me, by means of each one of us. There is no distinction between the I am that I am and the I am that it is. We objectify it for the purpose of conversation. When I was I've told you this story before, but when I was in ministerial school, the dean of the school at that time was a practicing Buddhist. And he told us, he said, you know, Buddhists, this was kind of a casual remark over dinner. He says, Buddhists don't believe in God. And we all sort of put down our utensils and we're like, what? And he said, because to believe in something, you have to externalize it. You believe in the existence of, it has to have some kind of objective nature. He says the God that we relate to in our practice is subjective, is the essence of all creation. It can't be taken out and set on a table and examined and exercised and practiced and so on. What is practiced, what is exercised, what is analyzed is the belief about God, the understanding about God, the idea. We examine our ideas, but back of the idea there's an absolute reality. There is an absolute I am that's greater than any capacity any of us has to explain, to understand. Copious amounts of words have been written about this thing. We have a bookshop across the way, you know, with metaphysical titles in it, but those are just metaphysical titles, and if you read the works of any of the religions of the world, you find book after book after book of analysis and explication, and what do they call it with the Bible? Exegesis, you know, the parsing of each word and stuff to understand. All of which is an attempt to do the impossible, to try to circumnavigate the all. So in spiritual practice, really, we try to get out of the head and out of the understanding of things and into the direct experience of things, into the feeling of it, into the moment of it. Life is spirit. Life is spiritual. There's no distinction between the spiritual and the material. Really, just a false distinction that we make sometimes, again, for the purpose of conversation. All there is spirit. All there is spirit. And I am the experience that Spirit is having by means of me. And you are the experience that Spirit is having by means of you. And there's really no separation between us, again, except at the very peripheral, superficial, material level. Where I see you coming across the room and I say, oh, I know that person. And we did this exercise last week, where I asked you to stand in a field and just be you and be inside your process and be in your thoughts and be in your feelings. And now here comes another person. They start as a little speck. You remember they're coming across the field. And then you recognize me. So, oh, it's somebody I know. Now where are my feelings? And you check your feelings and your thoughts as you encounter this other. Now here comes another little speck across the field. And as they enlarge, you realize, I don't know them. What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? Am I threatened? Am I pleased? Am I apprehensive? Am I exuberant? Am I not sure what I should be? Am I looking to my past for an answer of what I should be? How would I prefer to be? How would I prefer to feel encountering this incoming experience? And we talked about how we have the power to manage that right there, to manage the thoughts, to manage the feelings. We're the ones who decide how to react. And we went from there into gratitude and also into forgiveness. Well, this week, one of our excellent, I was looking for a hook for the talk, you know, you always want a hook. And so this week, one of our excellent practitioners, Jim Cantor, he texted me last night or the night before, he texted me this article. And the article has to do with, it's a long article and it's complicated and it's beautiful and it deserves a whole talk, it deserves a whole month of talks. But the essence of the thing is this, that there's a continuity in consciousness that brain science has identified. You might have seen this. You're nodding. You all read the same feeds, don't you? Yeah, okay. So, well, there's a continuity there to our personality, and that continuity it changes, but it doesn't. Things occur, but there's a kernel. It calls it a kernel, like corn, not military rank. There's a kernel of us that is unchanged while we grow and while we develop all new opinions and strategies and all of the rest of this stuff. And in the article, why I'm telling you this is in the article, they use the example of, which apparently a lot of people have heard of, but I hadn't, called the grandfather's axe. My grandfather's axe. Okay? So it says, like your grandfather had an axe he chopped wood with, and it got handed down to you. Now the axe is made of two parts. It has the steel head. It has the wooden shaft. Okay? The steel head got chipped and bent and broken by your grandfather's use of it, so it was replaced. And the shaft started to rot and fall apart and splinter, so it was replaced. So you have a new head and a new shaft, but it's still your grandfather's axe. What about it makes it your grandfather's axe? Your thought, your memories, your association. You see? Your association. And so everything we see, I'm going to take that article and twist it out of all recognition. Everything that we see in life, we have an association with that makes it real to us. So that's not just a chair sitting there. It's my experience of a chair today and throughout my life, which remains unconscious to me until I become aware of it. And every last thing, we're not even getting into other people yet. Every last object that exists in our life brings up feelings everywhere we look. We were talking just before we went on camera about the rain yesterday, the wonderful rain, and how one of us sat and outside and enjoyed listening to the rain, and somebody else had a nap, and there aren't many of us. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us in the room, just so you know. We're not hiding anything, right? They're not hundreds behind the camera. So everybody had their own experience of rain. I like the rain. I love the rain. It's great because we live in a place here where it's sunny a lot and hot a lot. So when it's raining, it's kind of, this is nice. It's a nice break. Today it's kind of chilly and a little bit raw, you know, and it's going to get colder in the nights to come. And I like that because we don't get a lot of that. If this were Minnesota, it'd probably be the other way around. Everybody want to be, you know, you get what I'm saying. Well, everybody has their own association with this. Some people don't like the rain. It makes them real depressed. My late uncle hated twilight. He couldn't stand twilight, dusk. You know, it made him think of endings. It made him think of death. And I thought, oh, why? And you know, when somebody tells you that, what you try to do initially, even when you're a little kid, is talk them out of it. Oh, don't feel that way, right? No, it's wonderful. You should feel this way over here, you know. But obviously, the man had something in his past. He had something in his history that he made that association. You know, he's overall a very happy individual. He just had that one thing going on that I knew of, you know. So we all have these associations. And what then happens is we make these associations. They're often unconscious. They remain unconscious until we make them conscious. And Jung talked about that, you'll recall. He says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it'll rule your life, and you'll call it fate. So we'll say, it's not how I feel about the chair, it's just how the chair is. When in fact the person next to me is having an entirely different set of feelings about it. You see? And so we make laws for ourselves. We make rules for ourselves. People ask sometimes, well, what are all this? I want a list of the spiritual laws. Somebody asked me this a while back. Can you make a complete list of spiritual laws? I said, yeah, it's a real short list. There's one. It's the I am. Everything else is made up, basically. We say, well, there's the law of cause and effect, except where does it begin and end? Every cause is an effect, every effect is a cause, and so you can't really box the thing up, package it up and say, here it is. It's too nonlinear for that, it's too organic for that. What about the law of attraction? Well, the law of attraction has as its complement the law of repulsion. It says, I'm drawing in one thing, and whatever's unlike it, I'm pushing away from me. So is that really a law, or is that more of a practice, more of a custom, more of a technique, But there is this one law that is the I am. And the kernel of consciousness that we carry through life is our I AMness. And your grandfather's acts, being your grandfather's acts despite the new head and the new shaft, is the I AMness of your grandfather's acts. It's the deathless, changeless, eternal aspect of all of us. And the title of today's talk was about the word when sent upward. The word when sent upward. The activity of prayer. The activity of prayer is you, me, recognizing, acknowledging, and connecting with our I AMness. It's not about what we think it is. It's not about relief. It's not about gain, benefit. It's not about even healing. It's about our relationship with the essence of our own being. Now, when we practice that with that intent to simply know who we are and be with the essence of our own being, you know what we get? Relief. Benefit, gain, supply, things, good things happen around us. Things begin to change. Things begin to move. The ice begins to break, The mountain can now be scaled or tunneled under or gone round. Or it just picks up, as Jesus put it, and casts itself into the sea, because we have visualized where the mountain was an open plain, like the one we had last week where we saw the person coming. That used to be a mountain there, now it's just a plain. Well, in the activity of consciousness, in the recognition of the I AMness of the self, then there's some practical benefit to us. But the practical benefit alone, all taken together, is not enough to add up to the I AMness of us. Because there's more to us than just the meeting of our needs. Because there's a place in us that's never needed anything, that simply seeks the recognition of itself at the universal level. In other words, what we want more than anything else is to feel like we stand in the middle of the creative process of the universe. And it's okay with us if right now we don't seem to have enough money, or it's okay with us if right now we don't seem to have all our goals achieved, all our needs met. It's okay with us if we have a sense of purpose and meaning in life which is driven by the recognition of ourselves as the destiny of the universe happening by means of us. This is why Jesus said, I believe, seek you first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Taking for a moment some liberties, as we do with Scripture. I think it's what it's there for. Somebody said whenever in the Bible it says therefore, you should look and see what it's there for. So we're going to take a few liberties here. The kingdom of heaven, seek you first the kingdom of heaven, where a lot of our minds go, and we hear that is the place in the sky, kind of the Disney castle, up in the clouds and all of this. Seek you first that. No, how about the context of the I am in the midst of your life right now? Seek the context, the unifying context that brings it all together. And all these things shall be added unto you. The purpose, the meaning, the journey, the quest that you have for what you want to create and manage in your life. I spoke a couple of weeks ago mentioning Emerson and his statement that the faith that rests on authority is not faith. I love that. I think that should be inscribed like pretty much everywhere out in the world. The faith that rests on authority is the agreement with authority. It is not faith. It is the assent to authority. Yes, I agree. Capitulation. It's not faith. Faith is direct, immediate, and unmediated. No one stands between us and the I am. Let no one stand between you and the I am. Let no person, place, or thing, let no holy book, holy writ, long-standing faith tradition, or anything else stand between you, beautiful though they are. You'll notice we have a little Christmas going on up here. And we'll celebrate several different holidays together as we go through December, you know. Beautiful though this is, let none of this stand between you and the direct, unmediated experience of the source of your own being, the I AMness in your own soul. Because in there is your redemption, and there is your relief, and there is your future, and there is everything you could possibly seek once you accept the dynamic of oneness. That you are one with the source of your own being. Some think of this as hubris, you know, to say that we're one with God. Hey, I'll take it a step further. You're not just one with God. You are, again, what? The experience that God is having in this world by means of you. It could not have it in the way that it is without you. It could not have it. Pluck somebody else up and have it through them, but it wouldn't be the experience that you're having. The soul, here's another Emersonian one. The soul had need of an organ here. You know Dr. Michael Gott. He was here. Remember when he was here, the time when we were given an old Hammond B3 organ. It sat over in the corner here, and it had the big wooden speaker, you know, beautiful thing. And we sold it to a Baptist church, by the way. He came in and he looked around, Michael did, and he looked and he said, the soul had need of an organ here. That's kind of a ministerial humor, you know. It's like, okay, yeah. Well, the soul had need of an organ here, and you're the organ. See, the soul had need of an organ, had need of purposefulness and meaning, just as you are. And I'll give you one final, because I want to end with these notes that are very cool. Be one final Emersonian line today, which is that for you, in fact, let this be your affirmation, if you would, this week. Now, I just got through telling you don't do what anybody tells you to do, and here I go. All right? But this is a suggestion, just a suggestion. And as an affirmation, you'll want to voice it in the first person, singular. I am. I am. How Emerson wrote it was, for you, there is a fit place and congenial duties. Okay? For you, there is a fit place. Let's just look at that a moment. A fit place, meaning it works. Okay? It fits. It's right. And congenial duties. What does congenial mean? Happy, pleasant, enjoyable, congenial. In every sense of the word. If you're thinking of work duties, that would include sufficient pay, wouldn't it? It would include a joyful working environment. It would include a sense of purpose and meaning to whatever it is you're doing, a sense of accomplishment, you know, suitable appreciation and all of this. And you have associations with this that I could not possibly think of because they're yours. So for you, there is a fit place and congenial duties. Do you like college football? It's weird watching it this year, you know, because it's different, and with a lot of games have been postponed or canceled. In states where they're allowing fans in, it's just half full or so, or half empty, depending on how you look at it. And well, there are in college football tiers of, there's Division III and there's Division II and there's Division I and stuff. And then within, some of you know where I'm going with this, in Division I, there's what they call the Power Five conferences. And that's the Atlantic Coast Conference and the Southeast Conference. And the Big Ten Conference, which has 14 members. And the Big 12 Conference, which has 10. and the Pac-12 conference, which actually has 12. And these are the teams that every year vie for the college football playoffs. They're, your Alabamas and Texas if I say Texas, I have to say Texas A&M. I realize this. Okay, LSU. Yeah. Auburn, the Auburn Tigers. That's right, I said Alabama, I have to say Auburn. You see what I mean? You think these are associations, aren't they? Wow, what an example. These are associations that people have with college football teams and nicknames and traditions and so on. One of these Power 5 schools from the Southeast Conference yesterday had a new player on the roster. Her name is Sarah Fuller. She played for Vanderbilt. She's on Vanderbilt's soccer team. They needed a kicker. They suited her up. She went out on the field. On the back of her helmet was written, "Play like a girl." They needed her to kick off. And they asked her, they said, okay, they drew up the play. This is my understanding of it. Some of you may have more up-to-the-minute stuff because you're Googling as I'm talking. But they said to her, we need the ball here. We want the ball here when you kick off. We want it to land there. She kicked off. It landed there because she's a soccer player. Even though it's a football, she knows how to control the ball. It goes there. They asked her in the run-up to this how she felt about being this trailblazer, to be the first woman ever to suit up and play on a men's Division I, Power 5, top elite tier college football team. They asked her how she felt about it, and she said, well, it's an honor, and she said it's a huge breakthrough, and it's a great moment for women, and it's a great moment in sport. But she said, here's where my head really is with this. I don't want to let the team down. They need me to kick the ball. I'm going to kick the ball. I've been practicing, and I'm going to kick the ball the way the ball needs to be kicked. For her, there was a fit place with congenial duties. She wanted to contribute. She wanted to contribute to the team. The team got blown out. It doesn't matter. They lost the game, but she put the ball where she was supposed to put the ball. She did her part. She contributed. That's the thing. She will take away from that a sense of personal satisfaction that no amount of media, press, and everything else could possibly give her. No amount of being told how historically important the moment was for her would make as much of a difference on her as the fact that she is a team player who showed up and did the thing that she was asked to do. Not as a token representative, but as an athlete. She showed up and she did the thing. That is what I'm talking about. Those are the things, all these things that are added unto you when you know who you are. I know nothing about this woman's spiritual life but what shows. What religion she practices, if any, is none of my business. But she's got something going on in her life where she has this devotion to excellence. Then there is a woman by the name of Yo-Yo Kasoma. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. Yo-Yo Kasoma, have you heard of her? She's 11 years old. She's 11 years old, and she's Japanese, lives in Japan. And when she was 2 years old, how I don't know, when she was 2 years old, she started playing the drums. And they had to be little bitty drums, I imagine, little bitty sticks. She started playing the drums. Now she's 11 years old. She's been on Ellen's show twice. The person she most admires as a drummer, I think, is the late John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. And she drums along to all sorts of serious. She says Rush is very difficult to play. I have to practice and practice. Okay, Rush's drummer was Neil Peart, who's widely considered by many anyway to be pretty much the greatest rock and roll drummer at least the most technically accomplished, to come along. And she's playing the drums, and Robert Plant wants to put together a band with her. I mean, she's 11 years old. She's 11 years old. She also likes art. She's also learning to play golf because she needs a break from drumming, so she's learning to play golf. And when they ask her, different kind of swing, that's good. When they ask her, this is so cool. When they ask her, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? People ask children that a lot anyway. What do you want to do? Like you're not doing it, right? I want to be a child. Leave me alone. I'll bite you in the kneecap. I want to be exactly who I am. No, what do you want to be? You have to go do. Didn't we do that to you? Yeah, we have. Yeah, I know. I'm guilty. You have to go do something and you have to go be something. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? You know what she says? Better. Better. So, got to go now. Got to play my drums, This is what I'm talking about. And next week and throughout the month of December, we're going to get into this. Next week is called Inspiration, Move Me Brightly. And it's all about this. It's all about, now that we know this, what do we do? But just to conclude on this point, the I am, it is not somewhere else doing some important work and occasionally checking on you. It is right here, building out its own creation. Using your hands, with these hands, with these hands. We last week, Saturday, when it was not raining, a week ago Saturday, fed 659 of our neighbors, which oddly enough is exactly the same number that we fed 3 months before, 659. I'm thinking we ought to have t-shirts made. I'm thinking this is too good to let pass. I went over and over and over the numbers that were taken down by the people at the car windows, added them all up, 6 ways from Sunday, and it all comes out the same number, 659. With these hands, we make this kind of a difference. With these hands, we feed each other's souls. With this work, we feed ourselves, constantly in the knowing. I know that you had a Thanksgiving unlike any other. If you celebrate Christmas, you're likely to have a Christmas unlike any other. Things are happening in the medical world and the scientific world that we're excited about and very hopeful about, that will relieve the world of this pandemic. But it may not happen in this holiday season in your house. And so I know that. I know that these are strange times. We've been through a strange year together. I couldn't help but sit there as I was getting ready to come up here and look at all the Christmas decorations and think to myself, did we in a million years think when we shut down in the middle of March that we would be doing this? And we will have Christmas Eve for you on Facebook Live also. I'm going to tell you, we're going to pre-record it for you. So make sure we get it right. So we got, with this small group, we're going to put together a small but mighty Christmas Eve for you. We're going to light some candles. We're going to light some faith up. But I know these are weird and difficult times for you. And I also know this: the I am is unchanged, is unbent, unbruised, unbroken. It's not even bowed, Because what would it be if it were? It wouldn't be spirit. It wouldn't be God. It wouldn't be source. It would be some lesser entity. Instead, the essence of all creation is saying, as we're fond of saying, come unto me. Come unto me. Come to me. Put that down. Stop that right. Be cool. And come unto me. Come unto me. Come out of your pain, come out of your fear, come out of your apprehension, and come unto me, all you who are heavy laden. And I am, the I am, will give you rest. Let's know together now there is this one life, this one power. We'll think of it today as the I am that I am. The name of Spirit. And it's true that we qualify that name when we add an adjective, a declaration of personal beingness. But it's more than just that qualification to us. We can limit the limitless, but in this word, now spoken upward, we stand in the limitless just as it is, asking nothing, fearing nothing. We are not afraid. We'll walk hand in hand. We shall overcome. We are overcoming. And we are reaching out, hand to hand, to journey together in the light. The I Am loves each one of us. It loves itself in us. And when we tear up for no reason, or what our head tells us is no good reason, it's because we have a memory of home. Our spiritual ancestral home that's more compelling to us even than that of our families and our long journeys on earth, generation to generation. For we are of the stars, we are of the night sky and the breaking dawn and the pensive twilight. We are all of this, all of it contained within the self, almost more than our hearts can hold. And so once in a while they seem to break a little. Once in a while it seems just too much. The beauty, the poignancy, the pain, all of it taken together of this life. And then we breathe in deeply and we remember that this is what we agreed to do, to meet each other here in this world, to do this thing called life, to remember who we are, to see it in each other's eyes, to live our lives in love. I affirm and know for each one of us that fit place and congenial duties, that team on which to play, that music of the heart that best expresses who you feel yourself to be. For this knowing and its manifestation in form, everywhere I turn, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now into the infinite, calling it done. And so it is.
I think you did that just to keep you on your toes.
Actually, you could do that on your heels.
All right. Okay, so I want to give a quick shout out because we got a text picture that Ruth is watching right now. So I'm shouting out to Ruth.
Ruth the Truth.
So
Another special person.
yes, she's had a few challenges, and so we want to give a
Ruth.
whole lot of love to Carthel.
And Carthel.
Because Carthel is the one who keeps texting us pictures. So, Ruth and Carthel, we love you. Now, that does not mean we don't love all of the rest of you just as much. We absolutely do. We just want to say, hey, we're happy to see Ruth, and knowing that she's watching means that she is on the good road. So, And there was something else, and whatever it was is gone. So, okay then. I've had 2 days of rain and no exercise, so yay. I keep waking up. My alarm would go off. I would wake up. I would hear the rain, and I would just go back to bed. Not getting out of it tomorrow. I have a sneaking suspicion. So, but I did when I walked out today. I could taste that bite in the air that says that winter is coming. That the weather is turning, and we have had an absolutely gorgeous fall. It's been unseasonably warm, and the leaves, I don't know if y'all were paying attention, but the leaves turned glorious colors again this year. They didn't just turn brown and fall off the trees. They turned red and yellow and orange. And so I'm hoping that you enjoyed that and that you will enjoy the cold as well, because we don't get a lot of it down here. So we enjoy it when we get it. My tangerine tree is, one of the branches is sitting on the ground. I need to get out there and pull the tangerines off of it. So heads up, anybody who comes here, you might end up with tangerines. But before I send you out into the world to view it as sacred, I'm going to tune you up. So I encourage you to take a nice deep breath. And relax when you release the breath. Take one more nice deep breath. And come into the alignment of who you know you are. There is one power, one presence, one life, one love. I am a part of that love. It flows through me, in me, as me. And it comes from an inexhaustible source. And as I know this about myself, so too do I know it about each and every one of you. You are that love. You are the hands and the feet and the heart of God, of love, of spirit. And the world is absolutely a better place because you are in it. And the world needs you. And the world loves you. Just as spirit needs you and loves you. And so in this knowing, I am knowing peace and comfort and healing and hope. Because that is what the world is built on. It is built on love. It is built on hope. And it is built on us. And so, in the words of Christmas present, go forth and know you better. Yeah, I mangled it a bit. But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for mangling movie lines. I'm grateful for these musicians. I'm grateful for our senior minister. I'm grateful for my partner in crime, Danielle. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you watching. The world is a better place because you are in it. Remember that. And know it in love. And I release my word into law, knowing it is so, even as I speak these words, and so it is.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I am.
I choose it.
I choose it.
I trust it.
I trust it.
I use it.
I use it.
And I love it.
And I love it.
So it is.
So it is.